Hey everybody, Caleb here. Welcome back to the shop. Thank you for joining me again today for an anvil top discussion on why I think the 6mm arc might be the best all-around cartridge you might want to add to your collection. So cute, little bitty guy, so cute, snuggly. Let's get into it. There's a lot of hate out there for new cartridges and wildcats and stuff like that come out, or you know, like the next new thing that everybody's all into. I fall prey to that myself. I'm a long-range shooter. I grew up doing that kind of stuff in the military. I guess you could theoretically. But I learned on that in the military. I learned on riflemanship, service rifle, that kind of thing. So I've always had a fascination since childhood, even growing up in West Texas, shooting varmints. And I mean, I had a rifle in my hand by the time I was 10 years old. And I was free to do pretty much whatever I wanted with it. Maybe not the best supervision. Spent a lot of time shooting rabbits, shooting varmints and stuff like that, playing with calibers, but I really didn't start getting into long range, ballistic fanaticism until I was in the military, and I actually learned true service rifle shooting, like riflemanship. And so I've always been a fanatic for calibers, cartridges, rifles, you know, that kind of thing. It's just my language. I'm a moderate hunter. Only recently in the last few years have I really started getting into big game hunting by myself, for myself, for feeding the family and stuff like that. And I've really become passionate about it. So I'm growing in that aspect, but I'm not like a world-class renowned hunter. I don't travel around doing it all over and that kind of thing. I love hunting deer and stuff like that. So simple, clean. For me, context of use, an all-around caliber is something that I can use in most roles, in most situations. It's something I can grab easy to kind of cover all the bases in what I might need in a rifle. Now, up until this point in the last few years, say till about 2008, my go-to was a 308. 308 was what I was familiar with for some of the context of use in military, for sniper rifles and that kind of thing. And just as America's cartridge, you know, for a long time, it was used broadly in a lot of contexts and scenarios. When I was growing up, it was things like the standards were the 243, a 308, a 30-06. You had, or you knew somebody who had multiples, or at least one or more of those in their category. 7 rim mag, also another big one. I kind of leaned more towards a 308 because of my military background. Loved it. Used it for long range, used it for hunting, that kind of thing. Enter 2008, the 6.5 Creedmoor, courtesy of Hornady. They are ballistician experts. Comes along and for me replaced the 308 as my all-around go-to cartridge. I love the Creedmoor. I love what it's capable of. I love the boost in efficiency and distance and efficacy you get over the 308 in a lot of categories. And then Hornady decided to ruin my world again and destroy the contents of my safe. I'm a Mark 12 fanatic. I absolutely love DMR style special purpose rifle type of rifles. Love them. I think they are the most broadly useful category of rifles in existence. We'll cover that in a later video because that goes down the crazy train for me big and hard. Okay, I go crazy train on that big time. But the problem with DMRs, special purpose rifles, all around use rifles, is that they are caliber anemic, meaning the 223 5.56 is kind of the standard caliber for most DMR SPRs and that kind of crap. So it's a garbage caliber. It really is. For long range, for heavy game, for medium game, it's garbage. You can use it for, it's a lot of fun to shoot. It's cheap. It's not efficient. Hornady did that right there. Hornady did what most other manufacturers hadn't seemed to be able to catch on to. We had things like the 6.5 Grendel, 224 Valkyrie, and they were okay in their own right, and I played with them, and I liked them a lot. You know, I was kind of a Grendel fanboy for a minute. But the 6mm arc came along and pretty much, in my mind and experience, blew everything out of the water for these reasons. I get that it doesn't fill every role. I'm not trying to make it fill every role. But for an all-arounder, you can use it in a broad range of platforms. Reason number one, you can use it for both bolt guns and those that shall not be named, that we can't name in public apparently, because they are just the worst thing since Satan. So it's versatility in its platform use. Great. It's lightweight, light recoiling. These we're gonna skip the numbers game here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just gonna go through the list. Lightweight, You can carry a lot of them. Not as high of a capacity as you can carry in like the 223.556, but pretty close. Close enough for the benefit you get of range and efficacy on target. Light shooting, low recoil, easy to shoot, pleasant to shoot. New shooters, young shooters, small shooters, they're gonna love this thing. I love it. My kids love it. My son at 10 years old shot his first deer with it. Dropped her dead snot. Didn't even think about it. Loves shooting it. Dude, look at that beautiful girl.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa,
I got one.
Okay, put her head gently to the side. Tucker, look at that. You're your first deer.
Yes.
Holy crap, you see that? That's so awesome.
Yes.
I can't believe you just did that. It is a true long-range capable cartridge with a high ballistic coefficient 243 diameter or 6mm diameter bullet. These things are like little Ferraris, okay? It's efficient, long and heavy for caliber at long range. Beautiful. Short range. You can do short range work with it too. It's highly effective on target and will absolutely devastate stuff that it hits, like deer. Let's use deer as our metric. White-tailed deer, that's going to be our metric. It's good for training. It's a lightweight training round. You can sit there and shoot this thing all day long. No problem. You're not getting bruised up shoulders and broken collarbones from lugging around your 300 Win Mag at the range trying to be a freaking cool boy. On that vein, it's easy to load. It's very easy to load. Broad range of bullets, highly efficient from 40, 50 grains down low end to 115 on the high end. Dude, that's a lot of bullet selection out there for 6mm that are already readily available, okay? You don't have to go hunting for this stuff. You can find them just about anywhere, from varmint bullets to deer hunting bullets. I've used it on deer. I love it on deer. It's my go-to deer cartridge now. I don't think in the deer woods there's anything that you need more of. Don't get me wrong. There's calibers that are heavier that may do better, like 6.5 Creedmoor 308, even maybe a 243. But what do you gain? You know what I mean? If it's an efficient and effective cartridge, and I proved that on multiple deer already, between myself and my family, why do you need anything else? But it is easy to load for. Broad range of caliber, or broad range of bullets, broad range of powders, make it super easy to load. There's a wide versatility in loads. It is a good hunting cartridge. I think it's a good all-around hunting cartridge, up to and including medium to almost largish game. Elk, no. Moose, probably not. Bear, no. I'm bringing a howitzer. Okay, RPG, something like that. Deer and smaller, antelope, even mule deer, yeah, I'd bring it all day long. Wouldn't question it. Varmints, hogs, pigs, you know, if you're hanging outside of a helicopter and you want a little bit harder hitting round that you're going after pigs with, and you know you're over the 300 blackout because it, you know, falls like a brick after 100 yards, yeah, good, this would be the one. Now you can sit there and pop pigs off, or ground squirrels or whatever, long distance all day long. The number one cool guy reason the military uses it, you know, for the cool guy factor. Honestly, the military, there's a branch or a section of the military that has adopted this as their primary DMR round, from what I understand, with great effect. So you got the cool guy points there. And the last point I want to bring in the pros category, inherent accuracy, which is kind of a fallacy. There's not really such a thing as inherent accuracy in a cartridge. It's efficiency by design and accuracy by design. Hornady is our masters at this. The shape of the cartridge, the shape of the neck, the shape of the shoulder, the length, and the length and weight of bullets that are heavier than typical for caliber that it's designed to use are what makes something inherently accurate, because it's efficient. You can use longer, higher, sleeker, higher ballistic coefficient, sleeker bullets in a more efficient package design that burns more efficiently, operates more efficiently, and you get a better all, you lose the fluff, you know? The days of blistering 3,700 feet per second needs and calibers is kind of waning, thank goodness, because they're bruisers, man. You got the bruisers like the 7 whiz-bang mags and the 300 whiz-bang mags. You don't actually need a super fast, ballistically crazy powder monster to push a bullet efficiently enough to be effective at long range. If you're using more effective bullets in a better designed cartridge, where your shoulder, your neck, your all those things are designed to be more efficient, then it becomes a more inherently accurate cartridge. Kind of a fallacy, not really a thing that exists, inherent accuracy, but it can be driven more efficiently. efficiency, and consistency lead to accuracy with good components. You're welcome, that's a freebie. So let's talk cons. Biggest cons or biggest drawbacks to this cartridge as an all-arounder: low inventory and limited supply of ammo. Only one company's making it right now, and they're not making as much as I would like. Let's just put it that way. So the ammo supply kind of low. That kind of knocks it down for me a little bit. I have a lot because when they first announced the cartridge, I'm a crazy person, and I was running a gun business at the time, testing a lot of loads and ammos and rifles and stuff like that. So I bought everything I could find, every piece of brass I could find, every primer for it, and every powder that was capable of loading it, and as many bullets as I could get my hands on. So I'm sitting pretty good. A lot of people are in the same category as me, but for your average user getting into this caliber, you may find it a little harder to get stuff for right off the bat. If we could get more ammunition manufacturers on the wagon to start servicing this with loads, that would be amazing. Anybody listening out there, do your part, okay? Do your part. The second big reason, it's not for dangerous game. I would not take this on a dangerous game. It is not. No, we're not going to Africa with this cartridge unless we're going after small stuff. Bear hunting, moose, maybe moose. I might. But like elk, no, I'm not doing that. I would bring something more, more specific to that category for it. So it doesn't fill every need, but it can fill a lot of them. Other than that, I mean, let me caveat this with the heavy game. I've done penetration testing on this. I've done ballistic testing on actual bulletproof vests and stuff with this. It actually, I don't know what it is about it, but I've tested it directly head-to-head comparison with a 308 on ballistic panels, like bulletproof, rifle stopping panels. It was obviously capable of things that the 308 may have struggled with. In some, it was at least similar to, and maybe slightly more efficient at barrier penetration than the 308 on things that should not be easy to penetrate. Let me just leave it there, because some of the testing I've done is private, for private individual, private testing for science. But anyway, yeah, it's capable. So large game, I might. You put a all copper bullet in this sucker, you drive it about 2,800 feet per second. You can put it through some stuff. Just gonna leave that there and do some tissue damage. So that leads me to the long range. Let me just, and I'm gonna sum this all up with my long range data to kind of prove the point here. How this is a caliber that could very easily replace, or a cartridge that could very easily replace something like a 308 as an all-around use. And I think that's kind of what the military was thinking when they started playing around with this with Hornady. It's my data. This is one of my best loads. I have tested this out to 1,250 yards. In high wind, high altitude, low altitude, I've tested it. Actual rounds on target. So on today's weather, 55 degrees, beautiful and sunny, medium level temperatures and all that great stuff. 55, whatever. I'll put the data on the screen. 107 grain Sierra Match King was one of my best loads that I've developed for my that guy. 18-inch barrel, an 18-inch barrel on a semi-automatic rifle. Keep that in mind. Supersonic past 1,100 yards, almost to 1,200. Virtually to 1,200. Supersonic, pushing 300 foot-pounds of energy at 1,200 yards. 300 foot-pounds of energy is enough to go through a lot of things. At 1,000 yards, 10.5 mil drop. That's easy money. 10.5 mil drop at 1,000 yards, still cooking at 1,287 feet per second and 390 foot-pounds of energy. That's gonna hurt. You're not walking away from that. The wind deflection is about 2.2 mils at 1,000 yards. 2.2 mils compared to a lot of other calibers out there like the 308 and stuff. The wind deflection, it edges it out by a lot of percent. Let's just call it that. It edges it out by a lot. Let me go with, just for comparison, let's do my 6.5 Creed more with one of the better loads I have in that dude. So comparing it apples to apples to my 6.5 Creedmoor with 140 grain RDF type of load at 1,000 yards, I'm looking at 1.7 mils deflection. There's some pretty close there, and the 6.5 Creedmoor definitely beats it, but for a lighter cartridge, more capacity, and a semi-automatic, that's pretty good. 6.5 Creedmoor is obviously pushing more foot-pounds, 630 foot-pounds, and 1,400 feet per second, roughly 1,425. So yeah, it's not going to do everything that a 6.5 Creedmoor or 308 will do. In some respects, the 308 is definitely a hammer. Inside 500 yards, bang bang, boom boom, made you go boom boom. So, but as an all-around cartridge, I think the 6mm arc fills a lot of roles really well, and it's something that could be really enjoyable to shoot, and you might find a use for in your own catalog. All right, those are just my thoughts. Please leave your comments below. What do you think? What do you think as an all-around cartridge, or just in general? Have you experienced it? Have you not? And what are, I know there's a lot out there, like 6.5 Grendels and 224 Valkyries and stuff like that. But this is one of the ones I think could probably top the pile before too long. If we get a little more serviceability in the ammo manufacturers and component builders, there's a lot of guns out there for it right now. A lot of manufacturers are putting guns out, both this kind and bolt guns, for the 6mm arc. And I think you won't regret shooting it. Thank you for joining me again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, leave your comments.